What's up, everyone? It is Special Game 75 here to play Sakura Bunny Girls Part 4. Well, I'm finally sounding much better because I was sick this entire week. But, anyways, we should be having more content this week. And let's get to this video. It's spacious yet cozy, decorated in a minimalist, stylish, but of lavish taste. Gee, I can't say anything. What the heck? Anyways, the abstract paintings alone must be worth a tiny fortune with enough zeros in their prices to be able to scare pretty much anyone. Welcome to my place, Yuri. It isn't much, but at least the sights of the city are stunning. Do you think that an apartment on the top of the skyscraper isn't much? Hardly anyone in the city could afford it. As I see it, this is practically a palace. Agreed, though it isn't what I really want. What is it then? I've been truly happy to live in this apartment. A big house in the countryside far away from the city. I want to remember what peace and silence were like. Satobi smiles at me briefly, not managing to mask her disdain for the city behind humor. Don't you like it here, Satobi? I'm sure that you could buy that dream house with your salary. Definitely, I could perhaps buy an entire farm if I wanted to. However, money is secondary to me. I can't enjoy it much since I'm virtually always on a mission somewhere in the city. You could almost say it's a side effect, not a perk. But this time, Satomi lets out a dry chuckle, failing again to hide an obvious contempt towards her job. Side effect? You make it sound as if there was more to your job, and not necessarily good things. There's no such thing as the perfect job, Yuri. All have pros and cons. Having a generous wage is a pro, but it's not enough to make up for the long list of cons. Does your current position give you too many headaches, Satomi? Satomi opens her mouth ready and willing to reveal what's the long list she was talking about. But in the end, she shrugs my question off, shaking her head playfully to show that she won't be answering me anytime soon. We're not here to talk about work, Yuri. We're here to celebrate the completion of our assignments with a bottle of wine. Aki, Ayako, would you please come? I know that you're listening to us. Yes, mistress, right away. A feminine voice replies to Satobi before a maid appears with a hop from a corner, another maid following suit shortly after. Incredible. Satobi has two maids under her service? Well, it makes sense. This is an apartment too ample for a single person to take care of. Sorry, mistress. We didn't mean to pry on you. Since you were with some company, we thought that it'd be better to not interfere. We know how much you appreciate your privacy and not being disturbed. Good. However, here's no need to be so secretive with Yuri. He's a good coworker and he'll be spending the night. Wait, I thought we only drink some wine. And we will drink it, Yuri. However, how long did you think that take? A few minutes? You're not that naive, so don't play coy with me. Satobi smirks at me, giggling to straighten the message. I won't be leaving until tomorrow morning. The idea doesn't bother me, though I didn't think that Satomi would be that hospitable. Does she have ulterior motives, perhaps? Anyways, the wine, I want you to open the white wine from Chile while I get changed. It'd be proper for me to keep wearing my work clothes. Understood. We'll prepare everything in no time. May I ask where you are planning to have the wine, mistress? On the balcony? You can show it to Yuri in the meantime. Okay, mistress, consider it done. Ayako doesn't wait for Satomi to head to her bedroom when she leaps to my side enthusiastically, gesturing to me with her hands to come behind her. I say nothing as I obey her unspoken command, watching how Aki leaves to what I believe is the kitchen. Given how massive this apartment is, Satomi could store the bottles of wine in her cellar. I walk in with Ayako as she guides me to the balcony. The nightly views of the city unfolds before me like an ocean of shimmering lights. Satobi wasn't kidding when she said that the sights were stunning. I could hardly take my eyes off of this impressive landscape. Aki and my mistress will come soon. Is there something I can do for you, sir? I'm here to serve. Pretty much. Let's actually dismiss, or let's dismiss. No, that'll be all. Thank you, Ayako. You're welcome, sir. And I hope you don't mind the indiscretion, but Satomi must be very fond of you to have brought you to her home. Covering her lips with her hand, Ayako whispers her message as if she was revealing a huge secret that should remain untold. But to be honest, it's not surprising Satomi proved to be interested in me since we met earlier today at the Maymay Cafe. I'd like to know why exactly. Her teasing is making it very hard for me to read between the lines. Flirting with the service already? I wasn't gone that long, Yori. Flirting? No, we were chatting. Yes, mistress, a friendly talk and nothing more. Ayako and I gazed at each other, our response lacking on purpose. Ayako's comment was dangerous enough for her to be troublesome. To be in trouble if Satomi discovered it. Anyway, I'm going to help Aki with the wine. It was a pleasure meeting you, Yori. The feeling is mutual, and with that cordial goodbye, Ayako darts away inside the house, Satomi drawing her closer to lean in against the metallic railing, inches away from me. Excuse her, Yori. She can get very talkative with visitors. It's alright. It was nice chatting with her. The little we did, at least. You changed clothes very quickly. Is the bodysuit that easy to take off? Being skin tight must complicate things quite a lot. Not much, no. A resourceful girl like me has countless tricks under her sleeves. Satomi winks at me playfully. Her response only increases the mystery around her particular suit. I'd really like to know some more. Although, as I'm about to ask, Aki and Ayako arrive with the wine. Here's the bottle of wine, mistress. I aerated with it, and it's now ready to be consumed. Ayako brought the finest glass. She'll leave them on the stand. Should we bring some snacks too? No, this will suffice. We'll call you over if we need anything else. Very well, mistress. Enjoy the evening. Aki bids us goodbye in a much more courteous manner than Ayako, places the now open bottle of wine next to the glass before she exits the scene. What a difference, don't you think? Maybe. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about Aki. The way she behaves makes it feel as if I was from the nobility. And Ayako, well, not so much. Yeah, Aki, well-mannered. As for Ayako, she's more ordinary. However, I'm assuming that you like the way she is. Otherwise, you would have replaced her with someone more similar to Aki. You truly are clever, Yuri. You could make for an exceptional investigator. Perhaps that could be your next milestone in your professional career. As she's done on many occasions. Throughout this day, Satomi compliments me with some playful remarks, pouring some wine into the glass with utmost care. I shudder to imagine the cost of every drop of the yellowish liquor. Jokes aside, I like how common Ayako can be when she forgets that she's my servant. It reminds me that I'm a regular human, even if it doesn't seem to be the case. Do you have to deal with an overly courteously environment at work, Satomi? I know firsthand how annoying it can be. It can be like that at times, yes. Corporations love this stilted refinement. Though it doesn't bother me that it makes people sound patronizing, it bothers me more to hear educated words from people who are savages. Her comments perplexes me, makes it even clearer that she holds some sort of grudge. I consider pursuing this issue, but the smile on her face hints that she's about to change where the conversation is going. Talking about matters, where are mine? We're supposed to be celebrating our victory with wine. You agreed to come thanks to that. Only in part, despite our differences, it's nice spending time with you. Despite our differences and the side we're on, Satomi jokes about yesterday's attack as if she hands me one of the glasses she filled up, its bubbly contents begging to be gulped down. But for now, we're on the same side. So let's toast, Yuri. Let's toast that it remains like that for a long time. It was great working with you, and I don't look forward to crushing you when you become my rival. You don't? Because it appears you want a rematch. I sure do. What's that look? Satomi narrows her eyes provocatively before she clings her glass with mine, sipping from it slowly as to savor the wine. Can I do the same? The fruity yet strong flavor invading my palate. This wine is very tasty, Satomi, but it's pretty heady as well. It kind of reminds me of sake. White wine isn't as strong as sake, Yori, though indeed it intoxicates just as much, especially the good wines. So trust me when I say we should drink this moderately. There are only a couple of wines better than this one. I would have bought them, but they were out of stock, unfortunately. Satomi lets out a tiny giggle, drowning her sadness with another sip. Are you a wine enthusiast, Satomi? More like a wine geek. I'm always eager to enjoy better and zestier wines no matter the cost. It's an expensive hobby, yes, but I believe I should put my money to good use even if I rarely have the chance. It doesn't have any value if you don't spend it, don't you think? I nod to show that I agree, drinking it a bit more from my glass in the process. Now that I'm talking wishfully, I would have loved to have bought this wine from the source myself. From the source? Do you mean the winery? I mean Chile, Yuri, a country. Traveling around the world is something I'm craving to do. There's so much to see, so many cultures to discover. But you can't, can you? Because of your job, I presume? Exactly. I'm chained to this city and the company I work for. Satomi smiles sadly, covering her pout, partially by sipping yet again from the glass. At this rate, she'll need a refill soon. What about you, Yuri? Can you go wherever you please, or are you trapped in a gilded cage like me? My company isn't as strict as yours, Satomi. They let me move freely as long as I'm reachable in case something comes up. You have no idea how much I want that. Freedom or relative freedom to decide what to do next. My options are very limited and often I don't even have a choice. So much to be in such a position of power within the corporation, Failing to contain her ill feelings, Satomi giggles derisively before she finished what she was left of her wine, refilling her glass afterwards. She's showing a balanced aversion towards her company tonight. I believe I should try my luck and see if she's willing to tell me some more. That's better. You said what your job was, but what is your role exactly, Satomi? Taking into account how much the company appears to need you and your responsibilities, it must be extremely high. To be honest, I'm not sure myself, Yuri. Indeed, the company relies on me more than I want, asking me to take care of the most operations, if not all. But this reliance comes with more drawbacks than benefits, and the benefits are mostly to ensure that my happiness doesn't drop. I'm a worker and not a slave. After all, even if the line is terribly thin for them, you're overworked. You're clearly overworked, to me. They're asking you to do way more than you should. As I see it, your company shouldn't burden you that much, especially if you're crucial to complete their operations. I wish they listened to you, Yuri. However, knowing them as I do, it wouldn't matter. They'll keep using me for as long as they can. That's basically what their contract said when they made me sign it. Alright. Sorry if this question sounds too inquisitive, but are you displeased with your company? You don't seem to be very happy with them. I've revealed my true feelings a little too much tonight, haven't I? The white wine is the one to blame, I guess. But since you pick up on the obvious, yes, I'm exactly happy with my company. Being treated as a tool gets on your nerves after a while. It's like your company doesn't know what they're doing. If they're mistreating you so much, they told me, you don't deserve any of that. You couldn't be more right, Yuri. Though they're holding me back too much for me to do anything about it. I would have resigned years ago if I was given half of a chance. Trust me. but here I am putting up with a lot of nonsense. What a lovely work environment, don't you think? Said Toby at the rim of her glass as she utters her deprecating joke, heavily attired sigh before she sips her wine. Has her company shackled her that badly? Probably yes, since she's one of the kind that no corporations would want her to work with her rivals. If this were to be me, I'd quit for sure. But the money may sound good, though. What motivates you to work for them, Satobi? It must be very hard for you to fulfill your duties if your company doesn't appreciate you as they should. Oh, they have ways to motivate you, Yuri, and not of the good kind. My wage is nothing but makeup to hide the ugliness or the side effect. As I said before, it doesn't motivate me in the slightest, but it helps me cope with my job a tiny bit. What do they do to motivate you? It has to be something big if you don't care about money. It is big, but I believe we should leave it as a secret. All I can say is that they placed me between a rock and a hard place, and there's no good alternative. Satobi snorts mockingly, saying that indirectly that her company almost forced her to work. This is starting to feel like an indentured servitude. You said something about the contract, and you said that they made you sign it. Did your company twist your arm so you'd sign it? Almost literally, since my family was counting on me back then, I could have let them down, and I didn't. But I wish there had been another way. My contract is a transvestity. Silence lingers in the balcony for a few seconds, broken only by the distant noises of the city. Toby's face is composed, but I can sense that asking further about the contract or family will end in even more silence. I should change the topic. We were supposed to be celebrating, and we killed the mood with these topics. How careless of us. So tell me we talk about something else. You were pretty reserved at May's coffee shop. Only to keeping things interesting, Satomi, is what you wanted. And what I still want, Yuri. Makes no mistake, I like my mystery in men. Satomi bites her bottle lid, teasingly halving the contents of her glass. Drinking responsibility is starting to lose its meaning. Anyways, what do you want to know? I owe you some responses. Four responses to be precise. And my first question is, do you want to answer the rest inside of the jacuzzi? After that downshift, I believe we should live in up the mood with some bubbles and hot water. I wouldn't mind, but I have no swimwear. Is that really your problem, Yuri? Because I see a very simple solution. Bursting into laughter, Satomi gazes at me from the head to toe, hinted to get in the jacuzzi without anything. However, as I'm about to ask if she's serious, she calls Aki's name out loudly, summoning her in an instant. What can I do for you, mistress? Yuri needs some swimwear. Aki, go fetch something from the guest room with him while I get something for myself. Understood. Would you please be kind as to follow me, sir? I nod and move behind her toe, allowing her to take me through Satobi's extensive house. Did Satobi have this celebration prepared beforehand? Because I can't believe she adds very clothes for men in the guest room otherwise. Oh boy. Skillfully rummaging in the guest room closet, Kagi finds a fitting swimsuit that she hands me to wear. Something that I'm doing right now as I wait for Satobi to return. The night is chilly, but not enough to make me shiver. Looking nice, Yuri. I'm glad I have a little bit of everything in the guest room. You never know what your visitors might need. I guess so, but it isn't storing clothes too much, Satomi. Is it? Thanks to that, we'll be able to enjoy the jacuzzi bath. Unless you're okay with the other possibility. I will pass for now. Amused by playful remarks, Satomi chuckles as she turns on the jacuzzi, prompting it to light up and begin to form bubbles. Hop on in, say then, before I decide we should skip to the end directly. And with that comment, Satomi enters the bubbling bathtub, triggering me to do the same 1 foot at a time. Whoa. We got some good scenes. This feels so good, doesn't it? I know it'll be a good investment one day. Hold on, is this the first time you've used the jacuzzi? I've been too busy taking care of missions for the company to even turn it on. And for the record, you now owe me 4 responses again, Yuri. You should be careful with the things you ask. Satomi winks at me teasingly, turning my previous question into a game of some sort. I could complain and tell her that it's childish, but I like the idea of it'll certainly make things more interesting. You gotta be fair and square, Satomi acts right away. I didn't get to ask you before, but are you from the city, Yuri? I have a hunch that you aren't. We would have met a long time ago if it had been the case. You're right. I'm not from the city, but Tokyo. It's where I started my career as a bodyguard. However, I've been drifting ever since, so I don't belong anywhere. Until now, right? You'll be spending a long time in the city since you're working for that security company. Now, I'm not sure how long it'll be here. It could be months, it could be weeks, or it could be years. And I hope you notice, but you just asked your second question. I smirk at Satomi triumphantly, managing to steal a disgruntled huff from her. Despite your composed look, you truly are ruthless, Yuri. I'm simply abiding by the rules of your game, Satomi. 1 question equals 1 answer. So you have 2 questions left. I better make them count then. And I think I have just the right question to ask. Satomi licks her lips in anticipation as she draws closer to me, her implish expression giving away I'm about to hear something exceptionally embarrassing. Maybe we should add more rules to this game. Since you've met both Riku and Yuka, I want you to tell me who you think looks best with the bunny suit. That's a really complex question, Satomi. It must count for 2. That's not happening, Yuri. You said it. 1 question equals 1 answer, and this is the single question. I'm all ears. Taking advantage of my own senses, Satomi forced me to reply, the sparks in her eyes asking me to say her name. This is gonna be a hard-ass pick. I know it's not Yuka, that's 1. But Riko's my number 1 though. But I guess seeing her in this? I mean, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, what could be worse than this? Like, you know. It seems like a hard-ass pick, to be honest. If I were to be real, of course I would go with Riko. But since Satomi has taken my eye with this bikini she has on, it might be the time I have to do this, but I probably might do an alternative for the next video if possible. But this is who I'm gonna go for. If I have to be honest, you 3 all look great with the bunny suit on, but I can say that you're my favorite, Satomi. I wonder why. Indeed, we didn't start on the right foot with your breach. I was convinced we'd be enemies after that. However, you proved to be a good company despite everything. So that added to your incredible powers that have caused quite an impression on me. You're impressed by me. That's sweet of you to say. And even sweeter for me to hear that it's the reason that makes me your favorite. You have good taste, Yuri. Just as I thought. Delighted by my response, Satomi sits on top of my lap while holding her teasing smirk, resting her hands on my shoulders afterwards. She really wanted to hear what she already knew just to make even more advancements, didn't she? Is there something else you want to know about me, Satomi? I ran out of questions, Yuri. Funnily, that question counted for 2 as you suggested. Even still, you can ask me if you want, otherwise the game will end here. I think that'd be the best. It's getting quite late, and we both need some rest after our mission. I nod somewhat saddened to Witness House and told me he exits the jacuzzi, turning it off when she's completely outside. I was hoping we'd spend more time relaxing, but she has a point. It's very late. In that case, I'll call a ride to come pick me up. Thank you for tonight, Satomi. Had fun with you. Ah, but you're not going anywhere, Yori. You're spending the night here as well. Excuse me? If you called a taxi or even if I asked my driver to take you to your place, you barely catch any sleep. That's why I'm letting you stay in the guest room. I tilted my head quizzically phased to hear what she's proposing. That's extremely hospitable of you, Satomi. Are you sure it's alright? You've been kind enough to me tonight. My apartment has a guest room for a reason, Yuri. I don't mind in the slightest. But if you still prefer to leave, I won't hold you back. If you really don't mind, I appreciate it a lot if I could stay. I'm a morning person, and I'd hate to miss it. Same here. If you're lucky, we might even have breakfast together. That'd be great, thank you. I smiled and told me thankful for her to let me sleep at her house. Next time, I should invite her to my place. Well then, Yuri, I'll see you in the morning. Good night. Good night to you, Satomi. And once more, thank you. Don't mention it. Satomi smiles back at me, bidding me goodbye with her hands before she goes back inside. I do the same, directing my steps straight towards the guest room. Damn, man, she just sleeping with us? If there was a swimsuit inside the closet, there's got to be pajamas too, and taking it into account how generous Satomi's being with me, she won't mind if I put it on. That's what I tell myself as I open the wardrobe door, fetching what I need, and wearing it before I get in bed. I'll never admit this, but Satomi is so friendly that I can hardly believe it. There's the kind of sensitive woman behind all the raw strength, after all. I wonder. Good morning, sir. Ah! Startled by a girly voice that clearly belongs to Ayako, I jolted inside the bed sheets, yelping as well, since the last thing I expected was being woken up. That's what I have my wristwatch for, and my usual wake-up time is still an hour away. Sorry if I scared you, sir, but Mistress asked me to wake up since she wants to have breakfast with you. Okay, I'll get changed. Tell her that I'll be there in an instant. Although the fact I can't find my clothes managed to cut me short, my drowsiness turned into nervousness with every second that passes by. Where are they? I left them on the bed when Aki gave me the swimwear yesterday, and I haven't touched them ever since. Are you looking for this, sir? My clothes, thank you. Thank God they're fine, but why? Why'd you have them, Ayako? When my mistress went to put on her swimsuit, she told me to wash your clothes the moment you joined her in the jacuzzi. They were dirty from your mission, so now they're spotless. Ayako handed me my clothes with a grin on her face, their touch and appearance pristine enough that I believed if she said that she bought them again. That's nice to Satomi, though I would have liked a heads up. My mistress is like that. She enjoys surprising people with little details like that. Well, not all people, only the people she values. Ayako lets out a few giggles, increasing the playfulness of her message. Anyway, I'll let my mistress know that you're coming. You'll find her in the living room. Alright, thank you, Ayako. And thank you for taking care of my clothes. It was my pleasure, sir. Satisfied with my grateful words, Ayako beams at me before she bows and closes the door, allowing me to undress and put on what is becoming my unusual clothes. Satomi hospitality knows no limits, it seems. She is actually pretty good with this stuff. Still relatively drowsy from having been woken up so early, I yawned as I approached the table placed in the middle of the living room. Food and beverages of all sorts waiting for me, just like my host. Good day to you, Yuri. When you said that you were a morning person, I thought you wake up at its time similar to mine. I would have lied then, said Toby, mostly because I should have said that I was a dawn person. The morning starts when the sun rises, not a second before nor a second after. And you may think I'm exaggerating, but every single minute matters. Free time is very precious to me, and I don't want to waste any of it. Yeah, I can imagine. You're really putting it to good use like this. Delighted with my praising remarks, Toby winks at me with a grin on her face, taking a seat in front of her. There's a lot of food on the table, even for two. What's the matter, Yuri? You look confused. Have you ever seen generous breakfast before? In pictures, mostly, but in real life, definitely not. Isn't it too much for both of us, Satomi? It is, yes. However, we won't be eating it at all. It won't be long before I have to leave. My beloved company will require my service soon. It always does. So the food we don't touch will be for Aki and Ayako. They've done a magnificent job preparing this breakfast, and I wouldn't want them to prepare another one. As you can see, I'm a generous mistress too. Satomi narrows her eyes as she begins to nibble down the food that's on her plate, triggering me to do the same with mine. Apparently, Aki and Ayako weren't satisfied enough with the pancakes they cooked, so they shaped them like bunnies. I'm assuming that the shapes are on purpose because your servants know what to do for a living, right, Satomi? They're aware of my job because they would have found out sooner or later, Yuri. Of course, their knowledge is limited, like yours. But the reason the pancakes and some of the other pastries have limited shapes, it is that I asked them to prepare them like that. I like cute things, you know, and bunnies along with the kittens and puppies are the cutest. Yeah, good point. You made that pretty clear at May May's Cafe. And as I told you then, life needs spice and cute animals. Satomi lets out a giggle as she continues eating breakfast, her plate half empty and her morning coffee about to disappear. Although, as she's going to refill it, a strident noise steals a tired sigh from her, forcing her to place the cup back on the table as she answers the call with a grimace. Grimace? Satomi speaking. A new mission on the outskirts? Alright, I'll be right there. Satomi's out. The conversation is short and dry. Satomi's ginger smile revealing she isn't looking forward to taking part in it in the slightest. Duty called, Yuri. I must head to the meeting point at once. I understand, Satomi. I'll believe it as well. Oh, you don't have to if you don't want to. There's still a lot of breakfast left. You can stay for as long as you want, Aki, and Ayako will keep you company. Are you sure? I don't want to take advantage of your kindness. You aren't, and you won't. You're not that kind of a man, are you? Without waiting for me to answer her, Satomi chuckles while she gets up from the table, moving to the entrance door with reluctant steps. See you next time, Yuri. It was an absolute pleasure celebrating our success together. I'm hoping we'll be able to do the same soon. Me too, Satomi. You're a better friend than a rival. That's because you haven't seen me as a rival again. Satomi and I share a peal of laughter before she exits her own apartment, her departure making Aki and Ayako fill the otherwise empty room. The mission is now gone, but don't fret, we'll do our best to serve you, sir. Is there something we could do for you, or do you prefer to finish your meal alone? Satomi said you keep me company, so if you want, you can have breakfast with me. However, if it's okay if you prefer to wait for me to leave. I don't mind you eating with you. Thank you, sir. Aki witnessed in shock how Ayako sits on the table, fetching a plate full of food that she's scarfing down. That was an offer you were supposed to refuse, Ayako. Where are your manners? It's fine, Aki. He doesn't mind. He's more laid back than our mistress. This is extremely disrespectful to him. Still, so stop eating and apologize. You're fine, Aki. Ayako's right. I don't care if you eat with me or not. If that's up to you. Aki frowns with doubt, contemplating if she should join Ayako. But in the end, she opts to stay put, shaking her head while Ayako keeps scoffing down the food as she prepares earlier. I appreciate the offer, sir, though I'm afraid I have to say no. Unlike Ayako, I have a high standard to maintain. You're lost and more food for me. Undisturbed by her comment, Ayako proceeds to fill her another plate the way she does so, making me laugh a little bit. Her nonchalant behavior reminds me of Rico, which means I might be able to ask her a few questions and get some responses. Ask her about Satomi. It's about her. I should be asking since Satomi's your boss and I'm your only visitor, but how is she as a person? I'm very surprised by how nice she is to me. Once you get to know our mistress, she's really sweet. Yeah. But her job is, well, the main reason she's bitter at times. She isn't very happy since her... That's enough, Ayako, hush. Upset at Ayako's chattiness, Aki interrupts her in the middle of the sentence, making her go silent and finish with a shrug. However, Ayako's baby realized something. Satomi's sterner when working at least to an extent. She's masked of most of the bad blood behind her teasing. Ask Ayako about visits. Correct me if I'm wrong, but eating with a stranger like me is quite unusual for you, isn't it? Unusual, I call it just extraordinary. Not many people have set food in this house since our mistress is terribly busy at times. It goes without saying, but you've got to be very important for her to be here. Professionally, Ayako is very important for our mistress professionally. We can't talk about her personal affairs and even less interfere. Panic with Ayako's comment, Aki performs some damage control, her correction falling short. I nod still. She's pretty nervous about this situation already. Let's ask about Satomi's job. Does Satomi's company always call her so early? The sun is barely up and she has to work already. Take into account that they've contacted her even earlier. You can consider yourself lucky you've seen our mistress around this morning. They've needed her for everything. Like if the CEO needed a jar of pickles open, they call her right away. Christ. It's like someone's got to wake up early to work for a 9-to-5 job, it seems. This is quite a strong word, but her company enslaving her. Don't be so extreme. Our mistress has a lot of responsibilities, which lead her to aggressive work schedules that are very demanding. Indeed, she's under a lot of pressure, but I wouldn't call it enslaving. Oh yeah? Then what about... As Ayako's about to utter something, Aki looks daggered at her, making her reconsider disclosing this information to me. They seem to know more than me about Satomi, which is unsurprisingly since they've been working for her for a long while. Sorry if I've been too nosy, but since Satomi and I are relatively close now, I want to hear from you. What you knew. Thank you very much for your answers. I won't be putting you in the spot of bother again. Don't mention it. I'm glad I could chat with someone different for a change. It can get lonely here, as you've seen. Aki isn't very talkative. Excuse me? I offended. Aki raises her voice, causing Ayako and I to chuckle. I can't picture these two chit-chatting for hours on end. I think I'm done with breakfast. Thank you once more for everything. If you want, I can repay you by helping you do the dishes. That'd be all. An absolute no-no, Ayako. We're here to serve, not to be served. Your proposal is awfully kind, but we can't accept it no matter what. I hope you understand, sir. Yeah, I do. Don't worry about it. You take your job seriously, just like your mistress. Happy to hear I won't insist. Aki smiles at me coyly as I spring to my feet, ensuring that I have all my belongings before I walk to the entrance door. Aki, Ayako, thank you very much for your service. I'll tell Satomi how nice you've been to me when I see her again. Until then, take care and goodbye. Farewell, sir. It was our pleasure being of help. Yes, what she said. I look at them as I shake my hand. Aki scowls at Ayako for her casual comment one last time before they disappear behind the door. What a duo. No wonder why Satomi's so fond of them. They make anyone feel better with their contrast. Yeah. So, imagine if I had maids. Imagine if you guys had maids. I'd be having them serve me all around and such, but hey, gotta pay them. Without any plans for the day, apart from waiting to receive my next assignment, I stroll aimlessly around the area, landing on its familiar street after a few minutes. Does fate want me to visit it every day, or is it merely chance? No matter what the reason is, the street's dull and uninteresting with nothing around that could help me pass time. Could Mei lend me a hand with that? Indeed, it is still pretty early, but with a little trick, she'll have opened up already. I had some coffee at Satomi's, though there's never enough, especially if they have foaming cats floating in it. To follow the shortest route to Mei's cafe, I arrive at the flashy street, most of its businesses ready and willing to start accepting customers. I'm sure that it'll be no different for Mei. Thankfully, it's the case. The colorful, were open neon sign inviting you cutely to enter. The door is barely closed behind me when Mei hops in front of me, beaming widely from ear to ear. She looks so very happy to see me again, and that I can't help but smile a little as well. Is she always this bubbly? If so, it's good to be a superpower of sorts. Welcome back, sir. I wasn't expecting you to visit my coffee shop so early. I'm feeling really fortunate. Puns aside, how may I help you today? With coffee, some chit-chat perhaps. If you're not too busy, of course. As you can see, my cafe is certainly a bustling establishment. People love cats in the city, cats or cat girls, though both work for me. You're right, this place is as crowded as it was yesterday. I'm just gonna have coffee for one at whatever spares table you have then. I never said I wouldn't chit-chat with you, sir. I can afford to have some small talk with you. With my maids will have handled the customers. Mei giggles teasingly as she points to the same table I share with Satomi, her behavior towards me clearly giving away and it has some kind of preference. Is it because I know Satomi? Probably yes, since she's without any doubt her best customer. I told my maids to prepare the same blend of coffee, sir. I also told them to take their time. We'll be able to chat longer that way. Because I assume there's something you want to tell me, right? You look like you have many stories to tell. Nah, not really. I only want some good company and to have some fun. And well, I thought of you. Aw, how sweet is that? It's paused to hear you like me that much. Mei reinforced her tender message by grabbing my hands, stroking them softly enough to ignite my cheeks. Oh no, does she think I'm flirting with her? Oh boy. Judging by the glint of her eyes, she totally does. I better clarify this misunderstanding before this whole thing escalates. Sorry for making this awkward, Mei, but I'm not interested in making romance advancements. I know, silly, but perhaps I am. Hold on for a second. Are you there? Are you serious? Wait, what do you think? Mei purrs like a cat while she continues to massage my hands, bringing them closer to her chest slowly. But then, when I'm convinced that she's going to glue them to her body, she lets them go, bursting into a peal of mischievous laughter. I'm just kidding around, sir. It'd be awfully rude of me to get in the middle of you and that girl. I sense some chemistry between you two. This is only to make today's service more fun, since it was what you were looking for. Much more fun and definitely more intense too. I thought you were for real, Mei. However, to clear up everything, that girl and I are nothing but friends. So she's not your co-worker anymore. That's good news. I didn't mean it like that. If you say so, I won't question your judgment again. Hopefully disbelieving what I claim, Mei winks at me, my cheeks about to achieve a new hue of red. She truly knows what buttons to push, something that tempts me to do the same. This is a game that two can play. Do you have a soul cat, Mei Mei? You may be curious with all this goofing around. I'm afraid not, sir. Running my cafe is as hectic as it seems. At the end of the day, I don't have time for such things. Well, it's never too late, is it? They look like the perfect candidate. I'm flattered, but although as I'm trying to explain myself that I wasn't hinting on anything, a maid appears with my coffee, placing it on the table, and then she returns behind the counter after she bows politely, not uttering a word or making any cat noises. It's almost weird communicating without hearing any puns. It's been very pleasant chatting with you, sir. I'm looking forward to doing it again. Believe it or not, I don't usually get this close to customers, only when I feel they're special. It's been unique for me, Mei Mei. I'm not used to this degree of teasing. Come more often, and you just might. I agree with you there. And with our exchange of playful remarks over, Mei Mei winks at me, resumes working, skipping around attending to her class as if nothing had happened. What a case. Though I admit that her wacky sense of humor has been refreshing, a break from the routine is always welcome. Oh man. Overly energized thanks to Mei Mei's coffee, I set foot on the street, my next destination unclear due to my lack of work. Ironically, as I'm going to wander around the neighborhood to see if anything comes up, Rico bumps into me, her sudden appearance putting an end to a search I hadn't even begun. Oh wow, I thought you'd be working, Yuri. What are you doing here? Management has granted me some free time, Rico. I came to the street to have a coffee. Would you have to have one? I could order something else. It's a very nice place. Definitely worth the visit. That sounds nice, but I have a counter offer for you. One that'll be really tempting for someone like you. I wonder what that's gonna be. Rico raises one eyebrow playfully, her further increasing my interest. For someone like me, like you need me to take care of Sutton? Bingo, you truly will be useful if you accept, Yuri. Maybe I will. What is it, Rico? It's a long story, but the summary is that I've been investigating a big enterprise that's basically laundering loads of money and evading taxes like they own the country. Some tax evasion? What? I want to show them they're very wrong and make them pay, like literally. After I'm done, their stocks will be used as a toilet paper. Oh wow. Rico laughs at her own scoffing comment, achieving the opposite effect on me. How big? How big? Also, are you sure of that? It's a serious accusation. I'm dead sure. I would have been taking action otherwise. And as for big, they spread across Japan and made their way to the stock market. But we're gonna change that soon. If you're willing to help me, of course. Are you, Yuri? Rika gets close to me and with a teasing top, her eyes lock on mine as she restates her proposal. It sounds risky, but since I have nothing better to do, I end up triggering Rico to beam at me with delight. I knew you wouldn't let me down, Yuri. We'll be making society a huge favor today. And I'll be returning the favor I owed you for helping me the other day. You owe me nothing for that. I'm just happy to help you help people in need. And that and messing with Satomi. She thinks she's the belly of the ball, but I'm here to remind her that she's wrong. I have cool powers too. Unlike her, I use them for good. When she's done talking, Rico lets out a hearty chuckle, making her rivalry with Satomi obvious. In a way, Rico's like Yuka. She's only missing the gang and the hideout. Perhaps she doesn't need them and can perform like one girl army, though I don't think I've witnessed her powers in action. Wherever I was in debt to you or now, I want to make up for your help, Rico. Pretty much, I always do as well. But anyways, everyone, that is the end of today's video. So thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media links and my Discord server down below in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one.